I have a question for you. How many toys is too many toys for your kids? Well, in this video, I am going to answer that question. Hey there, I'm Jessica, the Organized Mama. I'm a family organizing expert that helps you with organizing tips, tricks, and tutorials the entire family can do. Okay, the toy question happens all the time. How many toys is too many toys? I don't think I have enough toys. The toys are taking over my home. Oh my gosh, toys. This is such a hot topic. Seriously, so much goes into the toy situation. So I want to answer your question, how many toys is too many toys? Now, I want to start by saying that when you have too many toys, you actually get kids that are bored more frequently. I know you're like, what are you talking about? Well, when you have too many toys, you are giving your kids too many options. They get overwhelmed and then they become bored because they don't want to choose anything. Usually when I tell people this, they're like, no, it's the opposite. When we don't have enough toys, they get bored. And I was like, no, actually, when they have too many toys, they get bored because the toys that they have, there are too many options, there are too many decisions to be made, and the kids' executive functioning skills, those are the skills that the kids need in order to make decisions, gets overwhelmed, and so they shut down and they say they're bored. So if your kiddo is saying, I'm bored all the time, take that as a cue that you have too many toys. But I get a lot of pushback whenever I say this because a lot of parents say, well, but then they just won't have anything to do and so then they're going to be bored on the other end. That is not true. When you have less toys, you're able to be far more creative because you only have a limited number of things that are out. Oh wait, let's go to picture your kids' preschool, okay? If your kids are older, you can still picture this. What did their preschool class look like? Did they have giant tubs of all the blocks? Did they have giant tubs of all of the things? Or did they have smaller bins of less toys? Think about it. Most preschool classrooms are set up with a limited number of toys for that purpose because they know that less is best. So start by removing extra toys from your home. To do this, really look and see what the kiddos are actually playing with, or just take away some bins altogether. I mean, it's not going to hurt if you just remove all the bins and only keep 5 things on a shelf. Try it and see what happens. Okay, so another thing to look at is the type of toy you have. There is a huge difference between quality and quantity. So when you have too many toys, you have a quantity, the amount of too many. Where if you have quality toys, you end up having less because they do actually cost quite a bit of money. And when you invest in better toys, you're going to have more quality playtime that the kids are going to use with those toys. Because have you noticed, okay, let's say you go to get your kiddo, you're running an errand and your kids is just kind of fussy and they're just kind of over it. And so you try and find something just to buy them to have them be quiet, right? And so you get something from the Dollar Spot or the Dollar Tree, or you just get them a cheapo toy just so they will hold it together while you finish running your errands. Now, watch as that kiddo plays with that toy. Are they truly enjoying that toy, or was it just kind of a thing that they had and now they're kind of over it? I've seen this a lot. You get a little party favor or something and the kid plays with it for a hot minute and then they're over it, but it stays in their toy bin because nobody's ever parted with it. So then it starts to accumulate and you get more and more and more. And then it just ends up being that all of the stuff creates a large amount of toys and clutter, which then serve no purpose. So instead of just buying a toy because it's cheap or it's on sale or, oh, this looks cool, so we're just going to buy it, Spend your time researching toys and buying quality over quantity. Another thing to look at to decide if you have too many toys is to look at the type of toy you actually have. Okay, you want to get as many open-ended toys as you possibly can. Now, what is an open-ended toy? An open-ended toy is things like blocks, things like cars that the kids have to move, Barbie dolls, or other kinds of dolls that don't talk, that are just like the old school dolls with a few pieces of clothing or a few accessories. You don't need to get every little thing in order to make it an open-ended toy. So these open-ended toys leave room for the kids to get creative. The toy doesn't tell you what to do. And sometimes coloring books end up being a closed toy. Okay, so a coloring book gives you specific things of what you're supposed to do. Okay, the coloring book says color in these lines, and that's what the kid's supposed to do. Color A, B, C, D, and then this is what you're supposed to do. And those are fine occasionally, but if that is every single one of your toys, or you have, a basketball hoop that makes noise every time that the basket is shot in, that can get old because the toy only serves one purpose. Instead of blocks where you can create towers, you can create rows, you can create all these different things instead of just one way to use the toy. So you really need to assess the type of toy that you have in order to determine if you have too many toys. And then you also need to ask your kids. Yes, the kids need to answer you, do you have too many toys? Because they're probably going to say no at first. And then you're like, okay, so let's go through these toys and only pick out the ones that you like playing with. And start by taking one bin, one basket, one toy area, and having the kids pull out only the toys that they like. You will see that they kind of throw some toys over to the side. Do not get a garbage bag if this is the first time you do it, because then your kids are going to jump to, I need all the toys. Don't get the garbage bag yet. Start by having the bin or having a basket or having just something small for them to collect the toys that they really like. And then when they say, what are we doing with the rest of the toys? Put them in a big bin. Don't put them in a garbage can. The reason being is because sometimes your kids will feel possessive over their items because, again, their age and their brain development doesn't always comprehend that when you part with things, you actually leave more room for more, better, and creative, right? So you put everything in a bin instead of a garbage can, and then you set that bin aside. And then you go through the next bin or basket or area, and then you do the exact same thing with a smaller containment item. And then everything that they didn't want to save or keep, but you don't tell them you're getting rid of it. And then you put that in the same big bin that you had before. And then you take that big bin and you put it in the storage area. If your kids ask for a particular toy, that's when you can go back into the storage area to find if they, are requesting it. 9 times out of 10, they won't. They'll forget about it. And you can donate, sell, or trash those items that are left in that bin. This way, you're not giving the kids the anxiety over the toys. And once they start to learn and see that you aren't going to throw away all of their things, that you aren't going to sell all of their things, that you aren't going to donate all of their things, it will make the transition to them participating into what to donate. It'll make it easier in the long run because they are starting to remove themselves from their stuff. We do this as adults as well, where we have a hard time letting go of things because we feel that particular ownership of that item. So when you see oh, but this shirt is so great and I wore it 20 years ago and I still want to hold on to it, you're doing the exact same thing that your kids are doing, okay? So you just kind of need to separate the two. And once you're able to separate the emotional attachment from the physical item, and your kids see you do that, and your kids are able to do that as well, then it just makes going through and decluttering much easier. So that is another way to kind of start with the how many toys is too many toys question for your kids. So here's the thing. I can't give you a specific answer as to how many toys is too many toys. But what I can tell you is that you can ask yourself, do we have too many toys? And if you do, ask your kids, get them involved. You can also just simply get a garbage bag and just start dumping toys into a garbage bag until you feel like you have a solid number, and then put that garbage bag in a storage room, in the trunk of your car, just somewhere out of sight, so that you are able to teach them, like, look at, we don't have as many toys. So when you don't have as many toys, you don't have as much to clean up. And when you don't have as much to clean up, you leave more room for creativity. And in the end, that is what you want your kids to do with their toys. I have so much more down below. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every week. Love what you see? Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every Wednesday.